Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and today we are continuing our playthrough of Planescape Torment. And today we're going to be talking to some people in the Smoldering Corpse Bar. Here we go. First we're going to talk to Cadrian, and last time he seemed familiar. And although it's been a while since I played this game, he is quite familiar. He helped us do sort of a side quest with a woman looking to get back home. So yeah, so I did remember from somewhere. Perhaps I have answers for you. Speak and I shall tell you. What are you doing? I'm fresh back from negation. I'm trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. Negation? What do you mean? His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of the plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was bested by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and am now even now half gone. Never will I return. How did you survive?
Updated my journal.
How did I survive? He smiles tightly. With a piece of nothing that held back the nothing. Nothing can stop nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, and so I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan to journey to the ultimate negation yourself? You have the smell of desperation about you, and so I make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when the shadows press in, and it should protect you and your friends somewhat, should they remain close to you. He passes you a small black token that looks as if it has no dimensionality to it at all. You would know more of the planes. Ask and I shall tell as best I can. Would you hear of the outer planes and the prime material, or the inner planes? You see a slightly stooped old man with a full gray beard and a lion's mane of gray hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump, and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well, now aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketing a fellow like a scar cloak you've been wearing. Where you been, hanging out in a grain thresher? Oh, I'm just jesting with you, lad. No offense meant, and I hope no offense taken. I'm Ebb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Ebb. His handshake is firm. Now I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Why not? Best of spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He raises his feet and head to the bar. After a moment he returns to a seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, What can Ebb do for you on this fine, essential day? I had some questions about this place. Oh, well, I gathered that. Just look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. Ebb chuckles, then takes another drink. So what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land? Who are you? Ebb Creekness, third measure of the harmonium, now retired and being a tout with one's voice, since I don't step as lightly as I might these past 3 decades. He chuckles. Now, lad, who be you, and what trouble might be you in? Third measure of harmonium. Ed puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Hey, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served a tour of duty in many a decade, pushing a quill wasn't quite my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in, so I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. Are you in some sort of trouble, lad? What fights and skirmishes have you been in? Ebb rolls his eyes. More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost. More than I can remember. Lestwise, I did an all too long tour in the Blood War, that infernal muck-up, War of Lies and Terrors, far too many years in the Black Centuries War, Ed begins to tick off the wars on his fingers and counts silently to himself. And then there was the Three Plains War and many others. I even took part in the Harmonium War of Liberation. Or towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that that was the most dangerous of them all. He laughs loudly. The mention of the Blood War feels like a cold dagger slipping through your heart. Excuse me. Tell me more of the Blood War. Ebb sighs, oblivious to your reaction. The Blood War, the most dangerous family feud this side of the primordial soup. A mean-spirited mob of fiends on one side, a batch of warmongering fiends on the other. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging into each other ever since. Two sets of fiends warring against each other, eh? The Tenari, vicious killers who care for none but themselves, and the Betsu, war machine, all for law and order under their infernal rules. The whole mess spills out into other planes from time to time, and it's made the multiverse a less pleasant place to live. I see. I had some other questions. What other places can you recommend? Well, Ed puffs on his pipe and studies you. This is perhaps the best Kip you could have wandered into from the start. Judging by your tattoos, you might be partial to having designs on your body. Which in case there's a tattoo salon a little spyward from here. You want to stay away from the alley of dangerous angles if you can. Ingus torched that place not long ago, and ever since a bunch of bad bloods have set up their Kip in the stretch of desert. Thanks. Farewell, Ebb. You see a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you've seen in this city. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. He also looks dramatically out of place here. What do you want? He asks. Who are you? I'm Elias, warrior of renown. Surely you have heard of me. No. Can it truly be that none of this town have heard of me or my exploits? Alas, I shall have to prove myself all over again, and here I thought my fame spread across the world. What world are you from? I come from the city of Oliburn, on the river of Tame. Surely you have heard of its glories and wonders. No matter, this place is benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendors of true cities. I am told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of the city. Though a prime of what, I don't know. How did you get here? I was chasing my old foe, the villainous life shade Tyre Tenelli. He pauses, waiting for acknowledgement, and then continues. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway and hurled himself through it. Before he could flee me entirely, I threw myself after him. I found myself here. I get it. You're one of the clueless. He bristles, reddening, and his hand clutches convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I take offense to your words, sir, and bid you farewell in the hopes that we should never cross paths again. He turns away from you, still flushed with pride and rage. I just wanted to ask you some questions. He sighs heavily, in his eyes with disdain. Then be on with it, scarred one. Ask and be done. I'd like to apologize to you. He appears entirely shocked, as if the notion of apologies is alien to him. You wish to apologize? That's what I said. Then I suppose, as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Very well. In return, I offer my apology as well. Let us set aside the matter and speak of it no more. Who are the patrons of this tavern? I have met only the elderly Ebb Crackleness, who has been instructing me in the ways of the city and the plains. My foe's spell must have been captured us far across the world, for I know no plains near our former location. No, plains isn't planes of existence. They are planes of imagination of thought and belief. They're not physical prairies or grasslands, but other dimensions. A look of confusion passes across his face. I understand. What the old man said is starting to make sense. Excuse me, I must think this over. Farewell. Let's see. Let's talk to this guy. The man before you is old. His dry yellow skin has the scars of one who has traveled everywhere and never rested long in any one place. His pinched face is inhumanly angular, and his ears sweep out from his skull, tapering to points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange shimmering blade is strapped across his back. The blade looks to be a two-pronged glaive, made of some metal whose surface swirls like a film of oil on a pond. Greetings. The man turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. He stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if he might be blind. The weapon suddenly turns a dead, flat black, mirroring the man's eyes. Are you all right?
Traveler.
He says nothing for a moment, merely searches your face with his eyes. Hail, traveler. His voice is quiet and somber, like a wind whispering through the branches of a great tree.
Your eyes are the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
The man meets your gaze, his eyes burrowing into yours. His weapon drains of its black color, resuming its shimmering. You noticed before you spoke to him. Your eyes have the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place. You could say that. The man's gaze does not waver from yours. I am known as Daknon. The emphasis he places on the word known strikes you as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. I do not know myself. That is for the best. In knowing yourself, there would be little in the plains left worth knowing. He falls silent for a moment, still studying you with his cold black eyes. I would know why you have come to this city. I'm looking for answers. I have many questions. Speak your questions, I will hear you. Your features are unfamiliar to me. What are you? A Githzerio. A Githzerai. Excuse me. I'm tired tonight. A Githzerai is one of the people. One of the people? Yes, but what are they exactly? Daknon is silent for a moment, then speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. He would bleed to death on Time's Blade before I recited a fraction of our histories of our people. I don't need to know your histories, but I would know of what people as they are now. Daknon is silent for a moment. Know this and accept it as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon the shifting plane of limbo. With a deft motion, Daknon slips his blade from his back and holds it before him. Wait, see what happens. They remold the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begin to roll forth from the center of the blade. The pitch and crest of the waves match the inflections of Daknon's voice. In its chaos, we dwell with only our knowing to preserve us. We are Githzeri. What is that blade you have? It moved, shifted in response to your voice. It is a Karek blade. It is an object that lets others know the rank of the wielder. Karek? What does that mean? Daknon falls silent for a moment, as if searching for the correct words. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. The people may shape it with their thoughts. The people? The Githzeri. And you say the Githzeri can shape this Karek with their thoughts. Karek is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on its surface and in its edge. When one knows themselves, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. When one does not know themselves, the blade is as water, formless and weak. Are you willing to sell it? It would become as nothing in the hands of another. The blade knows my mind, and I know its heart. We die the same death. You seem to place a special emphasis on knowing. What do you mean? All things, whether structure or flesh, their existence is defined by their knowing of themselves. And if a man does not know himself, when a mind does not know itself, it is flawed. When a mind is flawed, the man is flawed. When a man is flawed, that which he touches is flawed. Decon pauses. It is said that what a flawed man sees, his hands make broken. Do you know yourself? Decon falls silent. His cold black eyes take on the same distance that you noticed when you first spoke. I ask again, do you know yourself? When Decon speaks again, his voice has changed. His words echo like a great stone dropped into a chasm. It looks like he is forcing the words from his chest. It is not my will that you know this. Perhaps I was being too kind, phrasing it as a question. Tell me. The words come out of Decon slowly, as if they are being carried one by one. It has come to pass that I do not know myself. Why? Decon's voice drops to a whisper like sand. I do not know why. I know it has happened, but I know not how, nor the when, nor to know myself once more. Can you tell me about this city? It is known by the name Sigil among the people. It is known as the city that does not know itself. It doesn't know itself? What do you mean? The city exists, but it does not know itself. And not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. How is it flawed? The city exists in opposition to itself. It has set itself apart from the planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Its walls are doors, yet it keeps these doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself. In not knowing itself, it is flawed. When you say the city is everywhere at once, what do you mean? The city itself is built from doors. These doors lead everywhere. Where are these doors? They are everywhere. Decon falls silent for a moment. It is said that every bounded space within the city is a door that leads somewhere. I don't understand. Imagine the door to the Smoldering Corpse Bar. Remove the door, the frame remains. The space within the frame is still a door. But I walked through that door to get in here. It's just an open space. Many are the doors you never see. You may pass through them as if air and not know them for what they are. They are close to your sight and touch. These invisible doors are everywhere? It is said every bounded space in Sigil is a door. It is not known for certain. Doors move, doors change, doors disappear. All are locked. Locked? The doors remain as air until you have the key. You have the key that opens them. When you have the key, the doors will make themselves known to you. How do you know what the key is? Every door has a different key. Some keys are known, others are not known. What are these keys? There are as many keys as there are doors. The keys are not always things of metal. The keys can be clashing of two swords, a drop of blood drawn from the tongue of a dying man, the memory of a past love, or an angry curse hurled at the sky. When the key and door match, the door reveals itself. Sounds like finding all these keys and doors can be difficult. Such a task has been attempted but never finished. As the city changes, the doors change. Nothing known remains known for long. Why did you say the city is flawed again? The city exists in opposition to itself. It has set itself apart from the planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Its walls are doors, yet it keeps these doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself, and not knowing knows itself is flawed. What if the city is not flawed? A thing does not need to be ordered to have a purpose to know itself. What if these contradictions are strengths that you cannot see? To your question, a question. What if the city is flawed and you see its contradictions all around you? To your question, a question. You claim this city's existence is flawed. You have accepted this rather than explore the possibility that something greater may exist. That suggests you are flawed. and that you do not search for knowledge, but only for a convenient answer. Dagon fell silent. There is no knowing the answer to the question we have asked, yet the city exists, that is all. Yes, I would maintain that we know ourselves by the questions we ask, and the ones we do not. If we cease asking questions and accept only what we can perceive, then we will cease to know ourselves. Dagon's voice has changed, slightly become heavier. Such words have been spoken before. I have heard them and know them. Or have you heard them? The words are mine, once. I knew them and knew their meaning. I had forgotten them until you spoke. Dagon's gaze travels through you, and his blade stops shimmering, bleeding of all color until it is translucent. There is a moment of silence. Dagon looks up at you. I would travel your path with you. I accept. An extra blade would be welcome.
Your path is mine.
Strangely enough, his voice seems distant, and it echoes as if he was speaking from across a great distance. Very well, let's go. Would you look at that? An extra party member. Let's talk to this guy. You see a man standing still. Standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On closer examination, it appears that he isn't even breathing, just standing. His eye sockets are empty holes in his face. Contained within their bounds is a flat gray light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of limitless void shivers through you, as if you gazed into a sliver of eternity. The head slowly swivels towards you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under his skin as he turns, and he speaks in a pure, bell-like tone. Well met, wanderer. You've forgotten again, haven't you? Do you know me, stranger? He opens his mouth. You get the feeling of certainty, of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It's almost as if this man were a shell surrounding an illimitable expanse. I've spoken with you before, and always you forget. Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to endure your existence. What do you know of me? How do you know this? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old shell, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. You bumble about the plains seeking the light without any plan to your actions, and fall exhausted when you fail. You ally on others to feed from them for a time and move on with no regard to them. I have watched you come here and listened to your words, and watched you move away, no wiser. Will you learn from your mistakes, Seeker? Who are you? I am O. For some reason, when he speaks his name, it sounds like he's speaking of much more than a single letter, as if speaking of his name contained untold possibilities and nuances. No human tongue could ever create such a sound. What sort of name is that? It is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am writ of the true names of half of everything. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, metaphysic. I think... So what does that mean? The divine alphabet is written in the name of everything that exists, from the seed at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers, sisters, a single word translate into the two of your mind, and I reach across all that is, was, or ever shall be. We are thought in reality and concept to the unimaginable. Tell me about the great beyond. You would not understand, no mortal possibly could. It is beyond the powers of comprehension of all but the most powerful of powers, and once they understand, they move beyond the veil of mortal comprehension. I can explain it no more than that. Perhaps sometime you will understand. So what are you doing here? Why, I'm watching the ebb and flow of mortality. And what do you see? You mortals are like wasps. You build your lives' nests from the slimiest of branches, and when the wind shakes your home or life free, you seek to sting the wind to death. Instead of realizing your foolish mistakes, attempting to repair the damage you have caused yourselves, and learning from your experiences, you bring harm to any who have the misfortune to blunder near you in your time of pain and distress. My advice to you and to all mortals, stop acting like an insect and start acting sentient. I'll think about that. In the meantime, I answered some more questions. What was it that you were saying about a divine alphabet? Then that means you know all the secrets of existence, doesn't it? I know parts of many of them. Without a connection to my brothers and sisters, I am but a letter. Alone I am a symbol. Combined we are language and power. So you don't know the secrets of existence. I did not say that. A letter is still a powerful force, even on its own. Allow me to show you. He opens his mouth wider and wider still, and the mask of his face tears around his eyes, mouth, and nose, revealing that hint of eternity you glimpsed earlier. You are lost in it, adrift in it, a part of it. You return to your mundane senses and realize that O has vanished, yet somehow your horizons have expanded. Enlightenment has brushed you, however briefly, across the brow. That was indescribable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll end this episode here. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Planescape Torment. Exciting episode. We finally got a new companion to go with us. So yeah, this should be fun. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And as always, we'll see you all in the next one.